Welcome to the Growers Mineral Podcast. This episode features audio from our most recent conference call. Each month, we host a live discussion on Zoom, bringing together farmers, agronomists, and industry experts to share insights on soil health, crop nutrition, and sustainable farming practices. For more information about Growers Mineral or to join our next call, visit growersmineral.com. And now, enjoy the discussion.
I'd like to welcome everybody. We got a little rough start here, but that's okay. What we do with these conference calls, and we've been doing this for a fairly long period of time now. I think we started back around 2010, and it was just a way to introduce ourselves, to new customers and kind of keep our old customers informed. And we've evolved into some other Zoom meetings. We do a Zoom meeting for our sales force where we try to keep them up to date on everything. And with the conference call, we were doing like a highlight of what's going on in agriculture. But we've kind of evolved into using our calendar pictures as kind of our basis. And several of the guys have asked to let the guests come on first and give them plenty of time to discuss what they want to discuss. And that involves a lot of different things: the growers program, the growers product, high calcium lime, and then what's going on, current events in agriculture. So the only thing I'll say a little bit about that is these fertilizer prices have kind of gone to the moon, and they continue to keep edging up. And see, this is something, we've at Growers have tried to help guys deal with by targeting fertility, getting the calcium to get the biological working correctly, and then don't offend the biology. We feel that we can whittle away on these rates of fertility and still be very competitive. 96% of the plant is carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. That's sunlight, air, and water. And we think we can grow a very competitive crop and keep these input prices down a little bit so that the farmers got a little bit of wiggle room. The other thing with the calendar, this is a sales tool that we feel we've tried to do different things on it. We try to bring educational research to it to talk about how the program, how the product, how calcium works. And then we also, some of our sales force likes it to be a little more decorative. So we've tried to bring that part of it in also. Showing our clientele, our customers, their families. This is something, we're very proud of. After 70 years, we've got fourth generation farmers that are still following the program, still doing it on the same dirt, which we were told years ago would be worn out following our protocol. So again, we think we have a lot to talk about. And so that's something that we think is very important. Another thing with the sales call that I would be remiss not to talk about is, the connection, the growers network. We feel that we try to tell farmers exactly what we see, and then let the farmer make the decision on whether our protocol can fit with what they're doing. But a lot of guys tell me when they listen to our guys talk, they get a better idea of what's out there in the field, what the cattle numbers are, how good is the corn crop, how good is the wheat crop. We take a lot of pride in this and telling what we see to be the truth. And guys can make a judgment and try to decide what helps their operation. So the network is a very big deal. And see, I think this conference call tonight, and if you look at the calendar, it was a field trip to North Dakota to Tyler Cameron's farm. And Tyler was getting started with us. And there are guys there that have been with the growers program for a long time. And then there's intermediate guys in there. and we got a couple young guys in there. So again, what we do is focus on that calendar picture. And so you guys that are on the calendar, I know a couple of them just sent me text saying you couldn't get on. Hopefully everybody is on. Scott MacGyver is one of the individuals on that, and he texted me earlier this evening. He had some personal issues come up that he wouldn't be able to make the call, but we still hopefully have the guys that are on the calendar picture, and I've talked to all of them. And if you guys are, ready to go, if you're in a quiet room, go ahead and unmute yourself. And I'm going to start with the youngest guy first, and then I'm going to just work my way up to the oldest guy, which is probably me. We can talk a little bit about our operation and what we're trying to do here in Northwest Ohio. So, Tyler, are you out there anywhere? Have you been able to get on?
You there?
Yeah, you
Hey.
got me.
Yeah, I got you. We're having trouble getting on here. I was talking to Keith too. He
Yeah,
said he couldn't get on.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh, good. Well,
I was
no,
able.
Brad, I'm
I
glad
was
you're
able to
on,
get on the.
man.
I was able to get on the phone here, but I'm not able to get on the computer so that I can have some video here. But
I got
I
you.
got I got you on the phone anyway, so I
Great,
can't see what you
great.
guys are looking at. But
Yep. Excellent. Excellent. No, I with the few issues we've got, we're basically going to be all audio this evening. But I just like Tyler to introduce himself, tell guys where he's located, talk about your operation, what you're doing, and then talk a little bit about how you use the grower's product and the program and. How it fits in your operation. And we'll try to keep a timer on you and keep it under control because we got a few other guys here. Hopefully they'll get on and we'll have a little bit of chat. So Tyler, you
yeah.
just go ahead and talk about your operation and tell us where you're at and what's going on.
Okay. Yeah. I farm far northeast North Dakota. We're about 30 miles from the Canadian border up here. Farm with my dad. We're a small grain farm operation. We grow spring wheat, soybeans, edible beans, um, canola at different times, and some alfalfa. And then we bale up all our wheat straw and then ship to different dairies around the country, I guess. I got going on the growers program here a few years ago with Keith Schutt. He turned me on to the growers program. Just we had them spread some lime for us and kind of got to know the growers program and got sold on the line uh, real quick after the first year and saw some great improvements in our soil. Um, and and then I've since have become a dealer for growers and we got a few guys around the area using it. Started out using it on soybeans and edible beans and any of the vegetable crops. Just had some real great success with it. We're actually trying out, moving more, using more of it now on our spring wheat crop and have seen some real good results with that now too. Our best wheat this year was stuff that we treated with the growers, so there's definitely something to it. Um, we're we're mostly a no-till operation, I guess, so soil health is kind of on our radar. um, and that's kind of what the growers program, promotes, that microbiological life in the soil and this, the growers mineral isn't just a fertilizer. It um, it promotes, the microbial life in the soil, as a lot of you guys have heard Jim talk about. So it's fit in with kind of how we run our operation here and great results with it. And
Hey Tyler, talk a little bit about your lime and what source it is and something about the rates that you use.
Yeah, so we use sugar beet lime from American Crystal Sugar. It's a sugar beet processing plant that's about 25 miles away from us. Um, we've been putting on a 10-ton rate, um, and Keith Schutt has spread lots of lime in our area, and has kind of come to the conclusion that that's the rate that you need to, kind of shock the soil and get a response out of, um, quicker, I guess. Um,
I got another question. Hey, Kyle, I got another question. You're a no-tiller,
yep.
and what do you do about spreading lime? We try to tell guys they should incorporate it a little bit. What do you
Yeah.
have to say about
No.
that situation?
Yeah. No. And you're right. If you can get that lime incorporated into the ground, that is much better. We have some that we didn't incorporate. We just spread it on the top, seeded it, and then the heaviest tillage we've done is to, just run a heavy harrow over it. Um, I've been in a no-till, 8, 9 years now, and that's one of my biggest regrets on going no-till is not figuring the lime deal out sooner. I wish we could have, you know, gotten the lime on when we were still doing tillage, and then transitioned into no-till, because of the soil health benefits and the flocculation in your soil and the aggregation and everything. So we've tried some different things. Some of it will work in with like a Salford or a Joker type outfit. Last fall we did spread a couple quarters and we just got the chisel plow out and worked it in. And then, um, did lighter tillage to level it out and smooth it out and seeded a cover crop in it and got it, land rolled and smoothed and everything and ready to go back into no-till, which isn't the end of the world. If you have to work your ground once every, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever, it really isn't the end of the world. So we're kind of figuring things out as we go on that side of it too. So it can fit in with a no-till situation. Just gotta, change your plans, I guess, a little bit sometimes, and just make it work.
Yeah, so you would advise guys to work the calcium in or the lime.
I would, yeah, yep.
Okay.
Um, you know,
Okay, Vic, go
the
ahead.
more you can get that lime into the ground and incorporated and worked in, you're just going to see the benefits of it a lot quicker than just spreading it out on the top and waiting for it to work itself in.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I think that's good advice.
there's we're learning different things up here with the no-till too. We have a lot of different soil types up here, and there's certain soil types here we're kind of learning that don't respond to no-till as well too. So it's all kind of a learning process, and we're figuring it out as we go, I guess.
Yeah. That learning process that kind of ends at the end. So
Yeah.
you're going to be doing that for quite a while, my boy.
Oh yeah, for sure. I always say I'll try anything twice. So we just
Excellent.
keep trying different things, and we're figuring out what works and what doesn't. And that's just part of it. You learn just as much from something that doesn't work as you do from something that works. So you just gotta try different things.
Got to figure it out. Hey, Tyler, I appreciate it very much. That
Yeah.
gives our guys a very good idea that we're around the horn here a few places. So next, I want to go. Daniel Wolf, you were texting me. We got you on there.
Yeah, I'm here. You got me.
Very good. Very good. This is Daniel Wolf from Wisconsin. And Daniel, just go ahead and introduce yourself, introduce your operation, where you're at, and what kind of operation you have, and just take off on what you want to discuss.
So yeah, I'm Daniel Wolf. We're Hillsboro, Wisconsin, southwest Wisconsin area. Um, we're a dairy operation with my three brothers and my dad. Um, all the forage needs. And it seems like we continue making more than we need. Is a good problem. Never when it's in the pile on the farm, it's a lot better than not having a pile out there to go feed the cattle with. So um, we got started and the growers all introduced to it back. I'm going to say probably 2010 range, and played with it for 10 years. And here the last 5 we jumped in with both feet. Continue applying more calcium every year. Higher rates. We're not about 3 ton would be our high rate for a one application, but we like to apply some every year also. So after forage quality, that's been, we rely on the growers very heavily to produce forage quality. Inner corn, alfalfa, we're using it. Winter wheat, grass hay, anything that's green and growing for forage, I guess. I guess we're into the soybeans now. Been raising plenty of soybeans for the last few years, and feeding them roasted to the milk cows. That's been very, very economically a good thing to do. So I was talking to Jim yesterday, and I got ranting around about what we're hearing right now. We're just about ready to start corn silage in our area. It's just getting there. Some started today. Well, this week, I should say. Some have started. We're hoping the end of the week here get started, but we're hearing we had real wet moisture first part of the growing season, and now we're got a lot of plant height, and there's a lot of push out there to high chop corn silage. They're saying their reason is that they're telling us is that that you got a big plant and the lignin is grew in the bottom of the plant a lot, and so you need to raise your head and leave more stalks to get better feed quality. So I know a fellow that been, well, yeah, a seed salesman, I guess I'm gonna say first, since I started on that one. He they would sell forage quality silage. I mean, seed is what they're specializing in. So he actually went out and chopped corn down at different heights and sent samples in. And he also went across the road and got some grain corn and done the same thing. And we was going over those tests here today, and we're not seeing what they're claiming. It's
Surprise,
not,
surprise.
yeah, not showing up real big. But so back to what we're hearing is, well, if you raise your head a foot, you would leave approximately a ton of forage in the field. So I got to thinking about this. Well, I should, yeah, I was thinking about it and talked to our nutritionist, and I said, I'm hearing you should high chop. And he looked at me and he got real tied up, and he said, not BMR corn, which BMR is brown midrib. It's a lower lignin corn. That's what we're raising. There's some things about BMR while we're on that subject that it is a more acceptable to disease. It's more it's a little more. It likes its groceries to stay healthy. Growers has greatly enhanced that. Made the difference between not liking BMR corn to making a very nice crop. I mean, we can make very good looking corn. Anyway, he was very, very adamant that you don't high chop corn. He said that they've been crying that for 20 years. And so anyway, between all that I've heard, I started doing some number crunching. I was told that there's approximately 12 million acres of corn silage in the United States every year. So if you left an extra ton here, I was reading that they're estimating our corn grain yield to be between 184 and 185 bushels the acre. So I'm assuming that would make about 17 ton corn silage to the acre, approximately. I'm just using that for a number. So on 12 million acres, if you would leave a ton to the acre out, that'd be 12 million tons. At 17 ton to the acre, you would need an additional 700,000 acres, almost 706,000 acres for silage. The 184 bushel, you're looking at 130 million bushels of grain that would be pulled out of the market. So I guess I'll let you decide if this is a market way to get bushels out. That's something I've just been thinking about, and you know, what was interesting in the samples that were pulled is the tonnage on the grain, which this is test, so it needs to run more times, but on the grain hybrid, it did not lose as many tons as the forage hybrids. A forage hybrid will put a lot of energy between the rut and the ear in the stalk. You got to flex that out, and it stores a lot of energy in there. So what it looks like to us is it depends if you're after grain or if you're after digestible fiber on that stalk. So it depends on what you're wanting to raise, so or you're after.
So hey, Daniel, talk a little bit about how you use the growers on corn, and then same way on soybeans.
Sure. So on our farm operation, our corn program would be obviously we have some dairy manure. We'll try to get that between 5,000 and 6,000 gallons the acre, either spring or fall, and then I'll come in and plant. Well, I should back up a little bit. Through the winter months, we will apply a couple 100 pounds of gypsum, a couple 100 pounds of high calcium lime to every acre. That seems to give us a nice germination. It's not correcting anything, but I look at it as people try selling you a couple 100 pounds of potash, and I haven't put potash on of any significant amount for the last 20 years. Well, I should back probably 10 to 15 years. Say that. So that's what I look at that as when we come in to plant corn. We've done several different things. This year we run 5 gallons to the acre on the on the planter in the seed trench. Then we come back with a couple gallons at foliar spray time. Corn this year was about waist high. And that's about that waist high time frame is when we come in and side dress 28%. Shooting for about I think this year with all the moisture we was getting, I run 140 units of nitrogen. I'm not seeing nitrogen deficiency. The other thing that few years we like cover crops. We're in the hills. Been normally we try to make everything so it'll be green in the spring. With small grain. And I got thinking about that, and you're always drilling. So we actually, and I wanted to produce more nitrogen on farm, so we shortened our alfalfa rotations up. So we're seeding 1 year, we're harvesting alfalfa for 2 years after seeding year, and turning it into corn. So we're going into it'd be 70% alfalfa at that point in time. Nice heavy stand. The seed guy was out this afternoon, and we was up checking out some corn on a sod field like that. We'd applied manure on it last fall, but it had no additional commercial nitrogen. We just done some real rough calculations of ear count, and it looks like we're going to come in at about, well, anywhere between 240 and 270 by his rough numbers. So 5 gallon of growers at planting. So
What kind of population do you run, Daniel?
that was put in at 31,000.
Okay.
So we figured at 30,000 plants.
So talk a little bit about foliar feed and alfalfa. What's your approach there?
Well, our approach has been this is coming from another mineral source a few years ago, is saying the mineral that a plant will take up. Well, I should back up a little bit. The roots of the plant, if the mineral will pass through the roots of a plant, it will pass into the intestine, into the bloodstream through the intestine. It has to be that size. So my brother's, or one of my brothers that I kind of bounce things off of, he's like, we know that we need to fertilize the feed, and we know that, or the alfalfa, and we know that if we get the mineral in the alfalfa, the cow will get it. So you need to run a higher rate instead of a lower rate. So we've been shooting for the 3 gallons to the acre every cutting. 1 to 10 days would be my favorite. Actually, favorite would be about 5 days after mowing, which we leave about 4 to 5 inches of stubble when we're mowing.
So how many cuts? How many cuts are you trying to make then?
So we would always make 4. This year looks like we thought we was going to hit 5. Then the last 2 weeks were pretty cool, and it wasn't near as aggressive. So we decided we aren't cutting for the 5th cutting. So there's a good foot out there. Now it got warm here the last couple of days, probably 16 inches now. got the energy, so it's
So what's your moisture situation? You got good moisture on the dry side? What's that all about?
well, we haven't been hurt. I would say, I mean, we're not wet anymore. We was really wet in into June, and it's continued on. Moisture wise, I'd say we're setting very well. Well, a week ago we had an inch. So, and then there was a tenth here 2 nights ago. So, no, it's not muddy out, but we're growing. So.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the cattle business. What are you guys participating in the beef on dairy?
Yeah, the last few years we've had too many replacement heifers, so they've been breeding a percentage to Angus, and making sure that we bring enough Holsteins in that we aren't shorting ourselves there. But but the last, which it's been a month or so, sound like them week old blacks are in the $1,500 range. So
So can you talk about
pretty good beef market?
Yeah. Talking to guys, around the country, they're talking about these replacement dairy heifers, getting in that 3,000-4,000 range, and they're saying some places it's even higher than that. What do you see in your area?
I am out of that. We don't buy anything in. Haven't for years, and we haven't sold anything for a couple of years outside of bull cows. So
I got you.
But last I heard, you're right on in that number. We actually called about a piece of machinery here, or my brother did yesterday, and the fellow was wanting to barter on taking replacement heifers on machinery. So there you have it. So
Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting.
he's 9 or 10 hours away. So he said, I hadn't got trucked any that far, but I'd sure be glad to have some. So
yeah.
Um,
Okay, very good, Daniel. That's absolutely excellent. I'm sure guys are very interested in that deal with the seed corn, and again, there's quite a bit of hoopla out there. They had those meetings down in Arkansas, and we'll discuss those at the sales call. But it's drawn a lot of attention. The agricultural websites, AgWeb particularly, wrote a big article on that, and it's going to get pretty interesting for this thing's all said and done. So, yeah, I really appreciate it, Daniel, giving us some synopsis of what you're doing out there. So when I scan through my thing here, I don't know if Keith Shudd ever did get on. Keith, are you out there? And he might not have made it on. I don't know. He was struggling a little bit, but I see David Armstrong, and so David, hey, you can unmute yourself, and we'll head there to Iowa, and we'll let David kind of educate us on the cattle business and what he's doing down there. So you can mute yourself off of your your smartphone, off of on the bottom there, or you can go ahead and *6 yourself, and that should unmute you. Or maybe Russ has got to unmute you so that we can get you to participate a little bit in the call. So I know Dave's on because his name's here. So it's just a matter of getting him hooked up so that we can hear him a little bit.
Yeah,
Hey, there you are. Gotcha, man.
yeah. I don't know how to run my equipment.
I understand. I understand. Good thing you know how to run that silage chopper.
Yeah. Well, there's days I
So,
wish I was sick or
so hey, go ahead and you're a little choppy there. So I don't know if you got your headset on or what's going on there, but just go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us where you're farming at and what kind of farming you're doing.
yeah. How about is that better now? I shut my headset off, but it hasn't been picking my phone up on this Zoom call.
Yeah, yeah. No, this you're sounding pretty good right now.
Yeah, I shut it off. It was interrupting. Oh, you know, we got guys hitting it pretty hard out here in some places, some larger operations, and some guys are saying, "Well, gee, they're taking beans out that are getting clear down to 9% moisture already, and we're really dry. We just
Wow.
went from being
Wow.
being lush to being dry. I'm feeding cows in pasture again, and it turned to dairy. Uh, a lot of disease problems in the corn. It seems like, and this seems to be cutting corn silage. I plant some first, and then I plant some last when I'm planting corn, just to catch it both ends. And it just seemed like this year when we opened that first field up, well, it's like you you took the wrapper off and it just dried up. It was a struggle to keep it. And, put it away okay. I'm satisfied with the amount of moisture we put in there. The southern rust really come after me. I noticed it, in the neighbors' fields, and I thought I'm gonna get away from this. I don't think it bothered me quite the way some were talking. The customers, they were kind of red in wheels and putting that in my field, but the shutdown is very apparent. I ended up here, and 3 days later, you're out there.
So I think we lost Dave. You're losing Russ.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was my end or your end or his end, but it sounds like you're confirming that it was his end. So,
Yeah,
Dave,
yeah.
if you
He's
get to
back
a
on
better
again.
connection, feel free to jump back on. But I'll pass it back
Yeah,
to you,
yeah.
Jim.
Yeah, okay. So I don't think Lauren Sherping's on. I haven't seen Lauren's number anywhere. And Lauren, I don't know if you're out there or not. Uh, I had chat with him yesterday, and he said he thought he would be able to make it on. So, Dave, hey, you're back, but you kind of got cut off a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sitting perfect. You got me. I'm sitting perfectly still, and this thing comes in
Yeah,
and out.
yeah. You're a lot better now. But hey, before you get going again, make sure you tell guys where you're at so they know a little bit
Oh,
about.
well, I'll tell you I'm at, and I'll tell you a little story to help you understand that. My wife called me one day, one evening, and our mother-in-law had a stint where she stayed with us. She was suffering with some diabetes issues, and she'd taken her insulin, but she didn't eat, and she didn't know how to handle it. So she called me, and I didn't. Uh, your name, yeah, I bet it's sitting over your head. Should be kind of a glad I believe I'm right here. So
Yeah,
that's where I'm at, right here in Deep River,
yeah,
Iowa, Jim,
very good, very good.
Central Iowa. So anyway, but I'm kind of with the team that are saying that I'm kind of interested to see what WASD says tomorrow, but I'm with the team of guys that says they've way overanalyzed this crop, way overanalyzed it.
Okay.
As far as being a big crop, I I still got a good crop, but it's not. It's not what they're saying. Not in this area. It's not.
Yeah, for the guys that are listening, the WASNI reports tomorrow, and we'll see where that goes. What everybody's saying right now is that they're going to cut the yield. And, Dave has been talking about this southern rust there in Iowa, and we're getting reports from customers in Illinois, even a little bit of Indiana. We're seeing a little bit of it. So that definitely could take the top end out of this thing. But in the last 20 years, the August prediction has been overrated. 17 out of 20 years. So again, that definitely could have a definite effect on it. So that's why I think we're going to have to pay a little bit of attention to that. The other thing, Dave, is can you chat a little bit about this cattle business thing? This is getting pretty interesting, and I've got a couple things. Talk to one of our very good customers in Minnesota that has a lot of hogs, and there's kind of a thing going on with the hog business in relation to the beef business. So, Dave, just hopefully we get you back a little clearer again as you come in and out with your cell.
Huh. Well, I'm just sitting right here talking to it. Am I good?
Yeah, you're good now, man.
So I listened to Sirius XM 147 to get some ag information, and there's a commentator on there by the name of Monty James. And today's report out of the cattle market, and he's going to be up in the Dakotas, probably some Nebraska report. And he gives the name of the towns, and I didn't record them, but he reported some 970-pound steers bring 326. 965-pound heifers bring 324.50, and some 430-pound bulls bring $2,092 a head.
Wow.
When Daniel says he's getting $1,500 out of a week old calf, I think is how I understood that. I'm jealous because I'm due to deliver a set of cattle Tuesday, and kind of the way the barn said they're going to sell here, we're going to be somewhere around $2,300 a head, and these are 7-weight cattle. So I'd say while the getting's good, we better get it. The ranges are all over the place, but the cattle markets are hot. I delivered some call cows, open cows, fleshy, to a local kill plant, and their market was the only way they market is in the meat. They hang everything, and their market this week was 297 in the meat, and I believe it was 315 on bulls in the meat. That's an unheard of price, Jim. It hasn't been that long ago that boxes were just kind of teetering around $3. If you recall, one of our trips where you and I was together in the car, you asked me what I thought, and I said, well, the prognosticators say that if we beat $3.10 in the box beef, that we're on our way, on up the hill. Well, we're over $4, and it seemingly is so that the cold storage is not being utilized right now, according to the markets or the reports I listen to and hear. So for the beef operator, it's good news.
Yeah. Well, it's your turn, boys, in my opinion.
Well, that's where I'm at. I mean, it's a long old road to hoe, and everybody listening, what machinery costs are, and my old TMR wagon's getting worn out, and I'm looking at a good used one, but it's got some time on it, and it's north of 20,000, and new ones
Wow.
are 50.
Mhm.
And it's just time to do it. But thing I'd like to talk a little bit more about tonight, Jim, is my
Yep.
experience with something I've been working at for a while, and that's getting the compost working for me.
Oh,
And
yeah. Go right ahead, Dave. There's a lot of guys who want to talk about that.
and I've been working on this for a while, and I've learned quite a bit from this company with the enthusiasm that other guys have put out there, and I've cultivated a few things for myself that I think is working very, very good. And one of the things is I see very important that as I compost, I mix some of my own native soil in with my compost and just let it cook away. It might be a couple years before I'll utilize that compost pile. And it looks like, my son's working with me and he's not quite acclimated with it. And when he was helping me this spring for the first time, he said, "You're just spreading dirt." And I said, "That's right. That's right. We've re-energized the manure, the corn stalks and the manure. We mixed a little soil with it and we let it sit there and bake away. And it does look like we're spreading very rich dirt, but we try to put about 30% calcium with it. That's Don't know where I come up with that. I just come up with the idea and we try to figure it out by buckets of the tractor and loader, so many bucketfuls of the compost. We think that the bulk density is, this amount, and we put in about an amount of high cal and just a manure spreader, just a vertical beater manure spreader, and go out there and put her in a high gear and away we go. We, there's no weights, no measurements, no nothing. It's all visual. And if it looks like it's going on nice, we just spread a nice even pattern. And boy, has that been rewarding. Wow. I've got some corn silage we're cutting right now, and seeing as I have crop insurance, Daniel, it's nothing like what you talked about, but all I've got on is 7 gallons of GMS. This is corn on corn for the last 10 years. We cut corn silage off this every year. And the crop insurance guy gave me a 190 on this piece. We opened up another piece 2 days ago. He was back again to do my analytical work for crop insurance. And this is a piece of timber soil that I bought that is tough dirt. There's been several owners, and I end up buying it a few years back. It's in reclamation, and we give her a heavy dose of high cal this year, 10 ton plus, and he analyzed that one. There again, no added fertilizer, row started with GMS and 175. If you can't make money doing that, uh, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just real happy with it.
So, Dave, what how do you view this cattle thing? I mean, when you read the literature, it's all over the board. The processors are, they want to get this thing knocked back, and it seems like this is the time of year when they can get away with that. That young woman writing for DTN is basically saying, they're slowing down the lines and they're trying to get, more cattle, under their control. But she's saying, once that thins out, we're going to be back in the same position because there's just no cattle out there. So
Well, if
how do you view this thing?
I, I, I mean, I don't know. It is a very interesting program. Let me just tell you about this. If you're watching the market, day before yesterday, feeders were limit down. Okay, $9.
Yep.
And so the next day that made open limits so they could be limit down $11, right?
Right. Right.
And so the analytical people that I've been listening to that night said that they don't see the tide turning with that limit down move for the second day of limit down.
Right.
And the reason they say that is because there's too many speculators out there and they're not all ready to run for the door. And technical move, nobody really gave a good reason why it did that. We haven't gained it all back, but they closed at $3.51 this evening. That's an astronomical price on the feeder end, man. I remember the day that we were just doing cartwheels for $2.47, in the 250 some range. That was a high range. And I don't know. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
Other than it's great. I'll take it.
Well, okay, David. Well, we've shot past the 10 o'clock hour. I don't know what you did here in the last 5 minutes, but man, you've been clear as a bell. It's worked out perfectly, perfectly. So I appreciate it, Dave, and Hey, you're gonna be on deck next month too, because we're going to Kansas, and you and Daniel are going to talk a little bit about what Norman's trying to do out there, and that's the next calendar picture. We're looking at the lime pile that nobody talks about out there, and hopefully we've got some plots going on, and then there's been some guys messing around with the fertilizer also. So Norman's going to be able to give us, kind of an enlightenment on that, and they've backtracked in Kansas into the more moisture laden areas and had some good success also. So we'll get a summary on that next month, and that'll give guys see when we start in new areas for new guys that are looking at us. What we like to see guys try to do, and that kind of gets you off dead center and try to introduce you to the program, basically. So at this point, Russ, I'd say these guys planned for 10 o'clock, and according to my phone, we're. Oh, if anybody would have a major question, or you can hang on to that till next month. And my calendar says it's going to be like the 9th of October. So we'll open up at that point. And the calendar picture, we're going to be talking a lot about calcium. And both Daniel and David, they know how to work with calcium. And so hopefully that'll give some guys something to think about. And then Norman will kind of tell us how he's introducing things out there and what's happening in western Kansas and in central Kansas also. So Russ, I guess I'll turn it back to you, and you can kind of close her down.
Hey, Jim,
Yeah.
I got one more comment.
Yeah, go right ahead, Dave.
Just remember, talking about Kansas, the Tin Man, what did he want? He just wanted a heart.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
I want to just mention something that's a terrible tragedy, and pray for Charlie Kirk's family. That's a terrible thing, and I'm not going to expand any more on that. Just be mindful of people that stand up for what's right in this country.
Yeah, no, it's we're in some pretty interesting times, and on our sales call, we're getting into this situation where we're talking about where they had those meetings down there in Arkansas. They were planning for a small group of 18, 19 farmers to meet with these politicians, and they had the venue for it. And guess what? There were 500 farmers showed up in the middle of harvest to talk about this agricultural situation. And these guys they were pretty point blank about it, that the monopolistic things we're seeing from these big companies. And again, there were some feedback in those articles, particularly the one from AgWeb, where some of the farmers said there are certain companies that are really trying to help farmers. And this has been our mantra for 70 years, man. We tell you what we know, we think we can help. You look it over, take it back to the field, and then you tell us. So that's basically been the legacy of Victor Tegens. And as we've gone through, we're in third generation owners, and they're kind of following the mantra. So we're gonna keep that up. So I appreciate everybody tonight. And again, Russ, if you have any closing words or you want to close her down, I'll turn that back to you.
Yeah, before I hop off, James, I see that you've unmuted yourself. Do you have something you want to share tonight?
No, other than I'll just make a quick statement. We're talking about beef prices and monopolistic. So to piggyback on Jim's point, yeah, that is a big movement that's been gaining a lot of steam in the industry. Um, and I think we have some examples in our own organization. First one that comes to mind recently is the Mercs down there in Georgia Florida line, or Siler's Peaches, and there's numerous other scenarios. I was had a conversation with a friend last night, and we were talking about beef specifically, and even paying stockyard prices what it would take to break even, let alone to make say 20 to 27% margin on it all the way to retail. And we were coming up with box meat prices of $15 a pound, across the whole animal. And if you're raising a quality product that tastes better, that's really the shift against that trend in the industry. And some of those examples, like the peaches or the blueberries recently, are doing that and are commanding that premium um, based on flavor and quality and shelf life. So that growers program's facilitating that. And then I think there's even been some signs out advertising that growers grown, low toxic, high quality, nutrient dense. It's getting it done. So good job, guys. Keep it up and keep thinking and innovating like that, because the market's out there and the consumer's right. We were at a blueberry meeting 2 days ago, and the Secretary of Agriculture and Kennedy shared a smoothie. They made it with a pedal bike to blend a smoothie from the Blueberry Commission, and they were talking about this meeting that the RFK and Brooke Rollins made them on stage and promoting blueberries, and all the Blueberry Commission did was ship them a bicycle with a blender on it. They didn't put $5 million in their pocket, so it was pretty good to see.
Yeah, exactly.
So keep it up, guys. And if I can help you at all, just phone call away.
Great. Thanks, James. And James and the rest of us will be down at Farm Science Review next week. So if you're in the Columbus area, feel free to come say hello. And with that, we will see you guys in a month for the next conference call. So take care. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Growers Mineral Podcast. Follow us on Facebook at Growers Mineral for updates. To submit questions for the show, email contact us at growersmineral.com.